All right, welcome back to Two Frat Boys. I am Anthony Aldano.
Jesus Diaz,
Yes, I am recording from New York City, Queens, New York to be exact, and Jesus is recording from
Sydney, Australia, the other side of the world.
Sydney, Australia, doing big things. So, we're going to start this episode talking about the 2004 shows. We actually have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven shows that we did in 2004. Great shows. But our first show in this year is University of Houston in Houston, Texas. The first time we actually go to Houston. It's a new environment, very exciting. We worked with some great organizations out there. So our show was Saturday, February 7th, 2004. It was the Latino Step Stroll competition. Yeah, in February. So I'm gonna read some of the wording that we had on our website at the time of this event. So LatinosStep wants to thank Lambda Theta Alpha Sorority, Gamma Alpha Omega, the Gaios Sorority Incorporated, Kappa Delta Chi, which I do want to do another mention. I'll speak to about them a little later, and Sigma Lambda Gamma Sorority Incorporated, and all the participating organizations that help bring the audience to their feet this weekend in Houston. For the first time in its history, LatinosStep.com is bringing Silk and Smooth of New York City fame to Houston, Texas. Basically, back then, we bring our stroll show. The ironic part about this, I'm looking at the flyer, and we should actually show the flyer as well, is that it's Latino Step is the company, but then it's actually a stroll show. So it's like almost a contradiction. Latino Step strolling. So that's a little what's that fancy French word that they use for that? I forget. So yeah, so basically this was the flyer that we use, and on the flyer it's the Sigma Lambda Gamma sorority. It's a dark shot, but they have a head wrap on, and they have some sashes that I'm sure were in like hot pink color. Here's the wording. So at this point, we start actually putting the rules of the stroll competition because, again, it was a very competitive show. Everyone wants to win, and then everyone starts to be very conscious of the rules and hey, this person is doing this. That why is that team doing this when I'm we weren't able to do that. So I see here see here are some of the rules that we use. All strolls are to be in a line formation. Because I remember, and I'm sure you, Asus, remember as well, that I'm not gonna say teams were cheating, but teams, I remember they started doing like these stationary skits, and they would just like stay in one spot, and then people were like, "Well, that's not strolling," and like I agree, that isn't strolling. But again, we're not gonna go on stage and stop a performance live, you know. Uh, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna just add in that this was the first show where we like planted a set of rules, and I remember you and I kind of working through what needs to be in there because we didn't have we had done the rules for stepping, and so we had
Right.
done that for 3 years now, and this was our first kind of national tour with strolling being at the head of the event, because we hadn't done strolling. We did it in New York City as a one-off, but not as a competition. So this was us taking the strolling competition to a national level, which had not ever been done before.
Right. And I have good memories of this show because I remember being in the hallway. So basically, the actual event was at University of Houston at the University Center, their main campus, 4800 Calhoun Road on the second floor. And it was one of these multi-purpose rooms, but it was a big room. There was a built, the stage was already there. And I remember a lot of people being in the hallway waiting. We were processing them, getting them into the room. And it was a pretty full house, right? Do you remember the attendance on that?
Yeah, for Texas, it was our first hour for like Frank and the Latino Greeks team that had acquired us. They had done Texas shows very successfully, so that was the one market where they were doing it well. So plugging in our brands to their event, that connection, I think, and then the co-sponsoring orgs doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the ticket selling side. Yeah, it was about 800 to 900 people during the first.
Yeah, right. So this show was co-sponsored by Lambda Theta Alpha, and then in conjunction with Gamma Alpha Omega, Sigma and the Gamma, and Kappa Delta Chi. So Lambda Theta Alpha, I'm certain helped us reserve the room at main campus, and it was great. The doors open at 7:30. Show started at 8. It was a very nominal $5 in advance. Um, Very well attended. So to get back to the rules, all people performing on stage must be members of the organization. So where that rule came from was that people, I remember LSU for some reason with this rule because at one show they had like this guy, this professional like drum beat guy. I forget what the Congo, a professional like Congo guy on stage helping them with their routines and stuff. And that's not cool because that person is adding value to their show, but they're not even a member of the organization. So, right, we felt that wasn't fair, and people complained.
Yeah, and that's like bringing a street ball player onto a professional team, and kind of allowing that person to score a lot of points for you. And
Right,
yeah,
right. So then, to go continue with the rules, each participating team must provide one judge. There will be 3 rounds of strolling per fraternity and sorority category, with elimination. Each team is required to prepare a minimum of 1 to a maximum of 3 strolls. Each stroll should be a maximum of 3 minutes long. So the issue with the timing part was that because we're doing 3 rounds and each team had to do 3 strolls, that in theory could have been like let's say like there's 10 teams, 3 rounds. That's like 90 minutes of strolling right there. So we had to limit it to 3 minutes. It sounds like it's not a lot of time, but when you multiply that by all the teams, multiplied by 3 rounds, it adds up a lot. So we needed to actually, and then it was hard to enforce that rule, the 3 minute rule. But I think Jesus, we started deducting points, right? If you went over time.
not for this show, but yeah, in the future, we always kind of tweaked it.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Stroll team will be judged on the following criteria. So all those people trying to do live events in the Greek world, Stroll show. This is what we did. We did the categories were originality, difficulty, synchronization, enthusiasm, and the music that you selected. So yeah, those were the elements. Um, and like I said, we had a great crowd. We had a lot of people in the room. And we don't have a list of all the participants, but we do have the winners. Or am I wrong, Jesus? Do we have
I think that was both for this show. So it's
Oh,
it's in
really?
the
Okay.
top right. Yep.
So basically, the results of the show was Sigma Lambda Beta of University of Houston took first place. The Omega Delta Phi Hype Knights, which I think were they like their main
Yeah,
team?
as I
Yeah.
recall. Mhm.
And then OD Phi had a second team from Stephen F. Austin. They placed third. On the sorority side, Sigma Lambda Gamma, University of Houston, placed first. Kappa Delta Chi, University of Houston, placed second. And then Lambda Theta Alpha, University of Houston, placed third. So, I mean, great performances. We don't have any video, unfortunately, to show. But if anyone out there listening was at these shows and wants to send us a link, we will definitely air this again. And, we can do a whole new show and show some really good clips. Um,
Yeah, and then what I remember from the Greeks in this show, this was my first real experience with Texas Greeks. Like, I remember thinking, wow, these people are really nice. Like, they were so like friendly to us. We were
yeah,
strangers to them.
yeah.
They knew us because we had a show that we were doing, but they didn't really know us, and they were very welcoming. Very willing to like just talk to you. And like I remember before the show, just random organizations coming in and meeting me for the first time, shaking hands, and like they were, very kind. And we were talking about kind of like what Greek life looked like in Texas, and they were even inter organization, like they were also friendly to each other. So it was very weird. It was like a twilight zone because the Northeast was not that kind and friendly to each other. And that's not a knock on them. That's just how like that was the culture of the Greeks in the Northeast. But yeah, I do recall that.
Yeah, I agree. Once we coming from New York, we started traveling to other cities in the country, realizing that like yeah, there's definitely different cultures in different regions of the country. Like you said, yeah, Texas people were nicer, calmer, just more chill and laid back, kind of like California guys, or even more laid back than Texas, I think.
Yeah.
So, Texas has its own little vibe. They're yeah, nice people. Even yeah, even I mean, even within our own fraternity, like when we hooked up and hung out with our frat guys in Houston, they were super nice. They treated us really well, and took us to all the spots to hang out. So yeah, it was great going to Houston, and again, it was our first time in Houston, so it was a big deal for us to be there, and for the show to really do well, and like yeah, all the teams that participated were also happy to be there.
And the interesting politics, as I remember it, LTA did help us get the room. But if we remember, LTA was not necessarily the largest organization at that time in Texas. So we made a conscious effort to also figure out how to get the other sororities involved. And this was actually our first show there, but like it was so great. We were doing really smart things, like unintentionally. Like we were just we didn't no one ever had a playbook for us of saying you need to have XYZ. We just thought we need to get them involved. So it was a conscious move to have other
Yeah,
co-sponsors.
yeah, and I think the biggest organization out there was Sigma and the Gamma at the time, and I think so. And then Kappa Delta Chi, which was new to our world because Kappa Delta Chi didn't exist in the Northeast, but they are huge in Texas. They're very big, very active, and we were lucky enough to partner with Millie Garzone and I think she went to UH. She had graduated, I believe, but she was super helpful in liaisoning with her organization, helping us. And I remember one time when I had traveled with Frank Valencia, so this must have been before you even got there. We were in Houston, and Millie was kind enough to like, we went out to dinner, and she took us to some places, and that's all stuff that hospital. She was being very hospitable. It didn't have to be, and no, I remember that, and she was super super friendly. So
Yeah,
Millie Garzone.
was that also, did our fraternity brothers take us out to lunch that first year? Do you remember the San Antonio guy? Remember there was a big lunch where the San Antonio guys invited us and like
Yeah, went to like
all
a
of the
burger place.
all of the local brothers from all over with their kids. Some of them had like wives and stuff. They were bringing them over. It was like a family dinner or family lunch.
I remember having a lunch during the daytime. I don't remember like kids being there though, but
Yeah, yeah. Well,
was
the
that a
kids.
burger place?
Yeah, yeah, yes. That it was the burger place. Maybe the kids is an exaggeration, but the wives or the girlfriends like were coming as
Girlfriends.
well, and like they were just it was like a family lunch.
Yeah, I do remember that. I don't remember if that was the time,
Yeah.
but yeah, Houston was phenomenal. It's a great town, great state, and yeah. So I mean, that was Houston. We showed you what our flyer looked like, and again, we want to invite people that are listening to email us at greekster.tv at gmail if they want to send us some video we can play in the future, or any memories or even audio file that they want to share with us, a memory of the show, memory of anything. What I'd be curious to know is, of all the shows that we did in all the cities and states we've been in, how many of our shows led to like people starting to date, like guys and girls, or maybe guys and girls to date, and then maybe eventually get married. I wonder if we were the cause of any marriages uh, that'd be a nice statistic, right? So that's another question for every listeners. If you know someone that met at our shows that eventually ended up getting married, that would be cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. I know there were definitely Stroll team members that ended up dating, and I don't know if that was because of us, but we definitely always brought them together in those dressing rooms, and so, but yeah. But the other thing to note with the Texas strolling in the event itself, like I remember watching some of the strolls, and I was not highly impressed at the levels that they were competing at. So I knew that
I
it
think
was,
also it was like it's their style like that. It was like a different. It's just a different style over there. They do things. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
yeah,
different culture. Different culture.
that's fair. No, that's fair. You're right. I was judging them on the scale of the Northeast strolling that I had already seen and experienced for years. So I had higher expectation. And again, that's not to say the strolling was bad. It was just different, and it didn't
Different.
necessarily,
Didn't
like
meet your standards.
I knew it wouldn't stack up very well against what the Northeast was doing.
Wow, it's being very cocky, very confident in your Northeast teams. So yeah, so again, Houston, we're asking for you guys to send us videos for any of our episodes, anything we talk about. Send us videos of performances from that show. We're actually going to talk about. I think we're going to talk about Omega Delta Phi. No, sorry, Beta Kappa Psi in Albany, and I want a video of O'Day Hoppy jumping off that stage. So I think I'm going to reach out to O'Day and see. I'm sure he might have a copy of that somewhere in the archives. So yeah, that's it for Houston on my end, Jesus. I don't know if anything you want to drop in.
I can't recall. Did we have prize money for this show?
Uh,
I think we might have. Um,
I don't see it listed anywhere. We usually would have put that on the flyer,
True, that's true.
but maybe we did. I don't think it's even better. We saved money and we didn't need to hand out money, so that's better. That's better.
Yeah.
So on that note, we do want to thank Lambda Theta Alpha for sponsoring that event, and then Gamma Alpha Omega, Kappa Delta Chi, Sigma and Gamma for helping us. And it's always there's always more sororities in the world than there are fraternities, so it's always the sororities really drive the events and really drive attendance. So that's just what it is. And even listening to this podcast, like more women will hear this podcast than men, and that's fine by us, you know. So
So I was thinking about this. I know when we started this podcast, we had talked about not knowing where this is going to go. Similar to like when we started the step shows, or when you started the step shows. It's like we didn't really know what it was going to build into, and with this show as well, we don't really know where it's going to go, or where the end episode leads us, or where it continues forward. But I had a thought. I was like, imagine, and this is me putting it out into the world. You know how I throw these kind of like ideas. Imagine if at the end of all of this, we have a stroll show like in New York City, and it's like a one-day event where we bring out like the old heads versus the new heads. You know, like the new stroll teams versus the
yeah,
old stroll teams. Like that would be it'd be kind of ironic if this is how it
yeah.
ends. But
I actually was thinking something along the lines of like, what could this lead to? And I was thinking, yeah, like maybe we should just do like stream a show, like have a performance. Not like we're not gonna congregate a bunch of people because of COVID and because of, but maybe we coordinate with the team and live stream there, like just coordinate it and then have teams live stream themselves. Maybe we're not even touching seeing anyone. We're just here organizing it and like kind of managing it and over like yeah, coordinating it and just do a live stream show and everyone's in their own location or place, or
yeah,
that'd be cool.
yeah,
Not for a competition, but maybe just an exhibition, get people to log in and hopefully get some more subscribers to our YouTube channel, which we want views and subscribers so we can sell some ads, you
that'd be
know?
interesting. And even if it's not that, or if it is that, it's like just what, like I'm sure people listening with ideas, like if you're
Yeah.
seeing an angle that we're not seeing, please shoot it
Yes.
our
And
way.
anyone listening, send us your ideas on how we can make money, capitalize, so I can buy more whole milk for my daughter who drinks whole milk, DHA with DHA omega oils in it, so her brain can grow. Uh,
That's beautiful. Um,
yeah.
Sweet.
No, but hold on. On that same line of thought, yeah. So what will become of this podcast? So here are some just ideas, things that may or may not happen. A, we get someone to come in and be like, guys, this is really good content. You guys are just fucking it all up, and you guys have amazing content that you fucking don't even know how to fucking market it, or because it's true. Like we threw this shit together. Like me and you just like, yeah, let's get a fucking Google Doc. Let's throw all this shit in here and let's just start talking. And that's fine. Cause my personality is like, I don't like preparing a lot. I just like doing shit. I like doing and tweaking as I go. That's what I realized. Like with our YouTube channel, like I'm in charge of the YouTube channel, and if anyone has seen it, it's gotten better. It gets better. Like I see something and I added some, video thumbnails that I think look pretty good. So all right, I forgot. So what am I trying to say? So
You're trying to say that with everything, there's iteration. You like to, go like a bull in a china shop, just go right in and knock things down and get things right, get things wrong, and figure it out as we go. And
right, but there, I was
that
oh, like where this
for people
right,
listening to the show.
right. So someone might come along and say, guys, like this could be done really well. Like what we should, in theory, what we really should be doing is having footage of these shows and showing the actual footage while we talk over the footage. Like that's ideally, and eventually, I think I don't know where all our footage is. We had it somewhere. Well,
Yeah.
actually, at some point on YouTube, we do have it, but like I think we started with Greekster. Like Greekster, I think YouTube came out right towards the end of our Latcom days, Ay Caramba days.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, and it may have been out there, but it wasn't like what it started to become. And definitely during our Greekster days, we were all over YouTube because we knew that's where things were headed. So
Right. So
yeah,
that's one angle. Another thing is maybe people will come to us that need some advice on, hey, how can I do this better? Or, you can maybe do some consulting. Maybe a sponsor wants to come in and be like, guys, I want you to, you know, plug my thingamajig.
yeah,
And then maybe, yeah, again, in the world of, COVID and Zoom, like people are now more comfortable with events. Like, uh, founding father Alan Suarez was telling me how comedy shows are being live streamed. Like Ray Ellen is doing like comedy and then charging people. So I'm not saying we should charge people, but I'm just saying like we can stream people strolling in their own environment.
that'd be
I don't
interesting.
know.
That'd be interesting actually. Like strolling, like I don't know if you've seen in TikTok, like they have different. There's usual viral stuff that happens, and then TikTok community starts to imitate it in different ways, shape, and form. Like I'm remembering the ocean spray. Like there was an ocean spray campaign where people were playing this music from Stevie Nicks and drinking ocean spray. So there was a guy on a skateboard in the mountains. There was a guy driving a car. Shakira actually started getting involved and did it herself. And like just this whole explosion around this. So maybe strolling in different parts of the world.
So people start imitating it. Is that
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And then it
like
becomes
kind of like planking when planking was
yep,
popular?
exactly. It is a phenomenon. So it does have like it's a is it a meme? It's just like a temporary kind of like fad thing that comes in. People do it. I know I'm sounding like a dinosaur here, based on the new
I don't know.
terminology, but anyway,
Dude, I'm more of a dinosaur than you because I've never used TikTok. I have no desire to use TikTok. I've only gotten back on Facebook and Twitter only to promote this show,
yeah,
which I'm not doing a great job because we don't have a lot of views yet.
it'll come, it'll come. But
Yeah, I think it'll come.
But yeah, I think so. Anybody listening, anybody who's a producer of their own podcasts or events, that thinks of other kind of thoughts, please send our way. We're figuring it out as we go. We are our sleeves are rolled up, and we are two entrepreneurs back at it. So thank you
Yes,
for
which could have been the name of our this podcast, Two Entrepreneurs Back at It. That's
we could always change on the fly, you know. Who knows? But
Yeah, the first name of our show. No, the first name we came up with that we were using was two friends from college, or what? What was it?
uh, Dominicans, two Dominicans or
Two,
something.
two Dominicans in college started business.